cold and always yearning, burdened by a royal...
Okay, time out. How is this girl getting teased in a trailer that isn't even hers?
Dude, what are you doing?
Hey, about a year ago, I made a video on why RWBY's Red trailer is perfect, analyzing the short trailer Rooster Teeth and Monty Ohm created for their hit new web series, RWBY. Now, this video was about 18 minutes long of me just glazing and gushing over just how excellent this short teaser was. From the way it showcased just how incredible Monty Ohm's animation is, the superb yet subtle storytelling that bleeds like a stuck pig into the main show, to even the way the music works for both events in the trailer and on a thematic level for the series as a whole. You see, it's funny, because I spent like a whole month planning and editing and writing the video, while Monty Ohm himself took 2 weeks to finish the entire trailer. And if that's not a blow to my ego, they actually explained in an interview that Monty Ohm actually held back because the original Red trailer was apparently double the runtime. But it was kinda dragging on, so he cut it down to 3 minutes. This man is a legend, and this trailer was the start of this show's legacy. Everyone is entitled to their own sorrow, for the heart has no metrics or form of measure, and all of it irreplaceable.
Okay.
Ooh, we got a dramatic quote here. But yeah, like you see that girl named RWBY over there, you're probably thinking like, oh shit, like that's like the main character because like the show's named after her, but it's actually not named after her. It's actually named RWBY, but like with a W in the center. Because like actually the big thing about RWBY is that like it's not actually RWBY, it's Team RWBY. And RWBY is not actually the name RWBY, but actually every main character's initials. So it's not actually about this one girl, it's about these 4 girls. Because they all have different names with like different initials. And this is taking me a minute to record. I don't know why I didn't make a script for this part. So yeah, the R stood for RWBY. That's why it was the Red trailer. Now we got the W, the B, Y, and the WBY trailers are interesting because they all share a quality that the Red trailer lacks, which is foresight. Because like I said, these aren't just weapon showcases anymore. These are like actual trailers. If they're gonna show the moon, it's not gonna be a normal moon, it's gonna be a normal moon, but like the cow who tried to jump over the moon missed and bonked his head off the side of it and now it looks like this. No, but seriously, like in the Red trailer, there are so many minor inconsistencies to the actual show that you can notice through here. Hell, Monty Ohm himself said in an interview,
The Red trailer is a little bit out of character because we didn't have a character. I didn't really investigate it as much. So it's really more, Red trailer was a weapon resume.
like she isn't acting like herself, she's cold, she's calculating, never says a word. If you ever watched even a clip from the original show, you'll know that like RWBY as a character is
My semblance is polarity.
Oh, you can control poles.
No, you dunce. It means she has control over magnetism.
Magnets are cool too.
well, my working theory is that she's an idiot. And like, I'm pointing out these inconsistencies and minor flaws in the Red trailer, not as a means to punch down on it or anything, cause out of the main 4, it is easily my favorite, without a doubt. I'm just letting you know that, yeah, it was a weapon showcase. A lot of this stuff was just made to look cool, but the trailers after it, every event that took place in them is canon, and does happen in the main series. Yeah, these trailers have become massive events. Core moments in these girls' journeys that ultimately mark the path they walk throughout the entire show. These, as subtle as they are the very foundation of who these characters are, the most important moments in their lives. Except for Yang, she kind of just walks into a club and starts beating people up. The Red trailer was a peek at what RWBY could be, while the White trailer is a beautiful start for this beloved web series. So without further ado, this is the trailer all about the White girl. The White girl wearing white. All white. I am overpaying these fuck-ass editors. Oh my god. Weiss is probably the best of the main four, and I'd say this trailer is also probably the best of the main four. It tells you so much about her character, and that's hysterical to me, because all she fucking does during it is sing. And that's a big thing I love about these first two trailers. It feels like they explain and get across so much information and so much lore, and yet there is not a single line of dialogue throughout any of them. It's silent storytelling at its finest.
Actually, Mark, in the White trailer, the announcer of the concert introduces the audience and says the name Weissney. So, in that trailer, there actually is dialogue outside of just the singing. So that means that you're actually wrong about that statement.
So if you can explain to me in one sentence why you thought this was a good idea, I might just let you go. Yeah, see, I don't get it either.
The quote from earlier appears on the screen. Then comes the Rooster Teeth logo. And immediately, I am vindicated! Do you remember my first video when I paused at the Rooster Teeth logo?
Has me gushing a little bit, because they made the rooster red and the teeth white. You know, Ruby and Summer's colors.
You know, some could argue that I was reaching hard here, because at the time, Rooster Teeth's primary colors were red and white. But looky here! This time their logo is pure white. And why is that? Because of course! The last trailer was directly focused on both Ruby and Summer Rose, and the focus here is the newly introduced character Weissney. Yeah. And it matches her primary color, baby! So right off the bat, we're thrown into the thick of this trailer, and the setting is instantly setting off alarms in my head. For one, let me sprinkle just a little bit of background here. Now, Weiss is among the elite. This girl is basically royalty. She lives in a nation that is powered by her company's main resource, dust. And no, not the dust that gets on that desk of yours you really need to wipe off.
Dust, fire, water, lightning, energy.
And this is easily the most valuable resource on the entire planet. So valuable that this nation she's in is floating. She lives in a floating kingdom, in a mansion with a butler. Her parents weren't even murdered and she gets Alfred. Like, what's going on, bro? Thousands of people gather for events her prestigious father hosts, because he is easily among the most wealthiest men on the planet. And by extension, that makes Weiss one of the wealthiest kids on the entire planet. So, answer me this, dear viewer. Why is the stage to a concert for one of these glamorous events her father is hosting somehow making the desolate forest full of rabid, dark monsters trying to kill on sight with the grave of a little girl's mother? Look like paradise compared to this fucking mansion. Seriously, like, the red trailer has some of the most somber undertones and an equally depressing backstory behind it. So how is this auditorium full of excited people ready to watch this girl put on the performance of a lifetime, even more depressing looking than that? Well, my theory is because we're seeing this through the trailer's main character, Weiss. Every scene in this mansion, hell, in the very same auditorium, looked like they cost more than my entire neighborhood. To an outsider peering in, it probably looks like heaven. Paradise. Who wouldn't want to live here? We see this place throughout the show through the eyes of a viewer, but in this trailer specifically, we are viewing it all from Weiss's perspective. It's her trailer, and her view of this mansion is nothing short of cold and lonely. So, like, why does she think this way? Hell, how does she think this way? I described how this girl operates, bro. Like, her company produces a resource that assists with weaponry, assists with superpowers, makes an entire city float. Fuck it. It literally powers this universe's version of a phone. And do you know how valuable a phone is? You probably do. You're probably watching this video on a phone.
Actually, I'm watching this on YouTube TV.
You're weird! Dust is everything to the RWBYverse. So, the Schnee Dust Company is the most valuable, expensive corporation on the planet. And as such, she has everything a girl could ask for. If she wanted something, she could afford it. Her life has been spared of years of work, years of anything. She straight up is living on cheat codes. So, like, how are you sad in this position, dude? Genuinely. Well, as she begins to sing, context blossoms. like a slap to the face. So once again for this trailer, we are lended the amazing talents of Jeff Williams and his daughter Casey Lee Williams. And these two, as usual, are integral to the show. I'm not going to spend too long screaming about how cool they are, but I, above all, always feel the need to express just how vital these two are. If I were to just fish back a couple seconds into the video and grab that nerd from earlier, yeah, the guy who was talking about how there was technically voice acting and dialogue in the beginning of the trailer. This is technically the first line of dialogue in the entire series, yes. So I just find it fitting that the man who's speaking in this scene is Jeff Williams. Their impact is constantly felt throughout this show. So let's go over what they did for this trailer. Let's talk about the song they made. Mirror, Mirror. Well, gee golly gosh, I wonder who Weiss Snee's fairy tale was based off. We already know that Ruby Rose was based off Red Riding Hood in the last one. I wonder who Weiss is based off. Who are you? So something I love about these themes is that they always speak to who the character is. The lyrics always immediately tack at the core of the character, and oftentimes tell us things that we don't even know just watching the show raw. And that's like one of the biggest things I like about this series, because like you'll hear the song during the actual show and you'll be like, yo, this is some pretty good background music. And then you'll actually like look at the lyrics and go like, holy shit, this bitch is depressed. The song starts gentle and begins with Weiss saying, mirror, mirror, who is the loneliest of them all. Gee, I wonder what fairy tale character Weiss is based off! It's such a mystery. Oh, what the fuck is that thing? Okay, but like, joking aside, the mirror she's talking to is obviously a reference to Snow White's magical mirror. The mirror in that story is evil and can speak back to her. Unlike Weiss's. Weiss, simply put, does not have a magic mirror that's literally talking back to her. She is looking through a normal mirror and sees herself in the reflection. It is a means of therapy for her. The mirror is a metaphor for her mind and her heart. Both feel and want different things from one another, and, simply put, throughout the show are in a tug of war. The first lyrics of the song are asking who is the loneliest of them all. She is quite literally asking herself, why does she feel so lonely? Then she goes on to ask, can a heart be turned to stone? And yeah, this song doesn't have many lyrics to it, but these few queries speak volumes. We all know how huge her company is. The SDC is insane. And if there's one person who's the most mixed on their practices and ethics, it's Weiss. On one hand, she has an immeasurable amount of pride in the Schnee name. She looks up to the founder of the company and adores her grandfather's legacy, outright calling him a great hero. She loved him almost as much as she loved her father, and then more than her father. And then she realized she suddenly wasn't just loving her grandfather anymore. She was beginning to despise her father. Jock Schnee, Weiss's father, plays a very interesting role in the history of this company, because while Weiss's grandfather was a very kind, heroic, and honorable man, Jock, on the other hand, got results. He's one of the biggest reasons the company got as big as it is today. When Weiss is singing this song, asking if a heart can be turned to stone, she's not speaking about herself, she's speaking about Jock. Jock is a man who cuts corners, and while somebody of his status will never go broke, he is morally bankrupt. He abuses minority workers in his company, is the textbook definition of a rich man eating the poor, and has little regard for anything but business, even when it comes down to his family.
When I was 10, my dad finally admitted to my mom that the only reason he married her was for the family name. It was actually on my birthday. He missed the big dinner. She got mad. He finally snapped. I think she already knew. Looking back, I think I knew too. But hearing him say it finally pushed her over the edge.
this man isn't just terrible, he's a terrible father and a husband on top of that. His family wasn't there to be loved, his family was there to be gazed upon like a trophy by stakeholders. He abused every member of his lineage on a psychological level. It got so bad, his eldest daughter, who was said to be the heiress of the Schnee Dust Company, abandoned them and went off to fight for the military, to become a huntress. And in an instant, like some factory worker, that position was swiftly replaced, and now suddenly Weiss was now the heiress of the SDC. Boom! See you, daughter of mine. So the entire point of this song she's singing is this very moment about her coming to terms with that. Her mirror. The reflection she's speaking to is a part that keeps pushing her. A part of her that believes she has nothing to complain about. Why would she condemn and dislike her own father, her own blood? She's been given a life free of all the world's problems. All she has to do now is bow her head and do what's best for the company. A company she adores, mind you. One she's adored since she was a child. So what's the problem? What is keeping her from lifting her chin and moving forward? That would be the other part of her. The part of her that wants this name to mean more than its sins, more than the man who destroyed her family, more than a reminder of the worst of mankind. And in the end, that part of her won. She did the very same thing her sister did. Weiss enlisted to become a huntress. And Jacques was vehemently against this idea. Hell no, what the fuck you think you're doing? Like, he already lost the last one. Hell no, dude, he can't fucking, no. So, he feigned love for her, claiming he didn't want his little angel going out to pursue such a dangerous line of work when she has such a perfect life here. But she put her foot down. He asked, at the very least, and tried to compromise, asking her to attend the academy down in Atlas, just down the road, not even a walk away. She declined and said no, she was going to Beacon Academy, a school about as far away from this floating nation as America is to Japan. Not down the street, down a flight that would take an entire day. So yeah, at like this point, he was like done trying to be nice. He was like, okay, you motherfucker. Like, he needed to do anything to keep her with him. If she goes off and does this, he'll have nobody to inherit the company, except his son, but like, ew. Ugh. So down came the hammer. He gave Weiss a deal. She could be a huntress, but she has to pass a test to handle what a true huntress has to endure on their worst days. And so she was forced into the ultimate royal test. As we look upon the heiress, soon to be ex-heiress, she continues to sing. The desolate background has kinda opened up a bit by now. We can see the Schnee Dust Company logo hanging proudly over her head. Oh, it's a little snowflake! That's so cute! That's such a cute insignia for a mining company that overworks and brands minorities when they don't listen anyway. To me, it's very telling that this symbol representing the SDC as a whole is basically the central focus of the scene outside of Weiss herself. But I'll elaborate on that later. The camera begins to pan down. We can see Weiss's reflection the further we descend. Wow, the floor is so glossy, it's kind of like a mirror. But yeah, this is just a fancy transition, a flashback, a memory, which I think once again is a really cool parallel to the song, because like one of them is her singing for her father, kind of abiding by the life he wants for her. And this part of it that's going down, the mirror, the reflection, is a showcase of like her wanting to do like something else. Like it's pretty cool. It's almost like this trailer is like really good, and we aren't even a minute into the trailer. Oh my god. I waste so much time. I'm so sorry. Okay. Biggest thing though is that we're here. We're at the test. This is the test her father had prepared for her. The thing that's keeping her from being a huntress. The only thing that's stopping her from making the SDC mean something again. So like, what is it? Like a really good fencer or something? Like some sort of a challenging, holy shit! Alright, the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to analyze the shit out of this fight. It's showtime. So yeah, once again, Monty Omer, the legend, animated this, and as usual, he fucking cooked! God damn! The way the background is pitch black, allowing Weiss's bright white colors to pop against it like pop rocks. The way the spotlight is still shining on her because she technically is still singing, it's the fight theme. Her singing is literally the fight theme, like it's so good, oh my god! Weiss stands here against a huge opponent, the Knight. Not you. Believe it or not, this series basically only has two main forms of enemies the heroes fight. You got the humans and you got the Grimm. You guys have already seen the Grimm from the Red trailer, and judging by what you've seen of these werewolf monstrous demons, you're probably expecting the Knight to fall into the human category, right? Wrong, it's also a Grimm. See, there's this Grimm type called a Geist, able to tap into various objects and manipulate them like puppets. It can basically possess normally inanimate objects and bring them to life, which is so cool. I wish that we saw this more in the show. Like, we only encountered the Geist like 3 major times in the show, and this one right here is easily the coolest one. Like, how the hell did they peak in the trailer? Because these trailers are peak. These trailers are peak. So yeah, Weiss is fighting a Grimm, and this Grimm attacks immediately. Weiss manages to dodge, but we can see the ground shake. Weiss tried to look cool with a flip and all, but like, bro, if that connected, she'd be looking like Mr. Game & Watch. God damn. You see, this is not the Red trailer. This is not a battle where the main character is just casually tearing through low-level fodder that are basically just running in to die. No. This is a fight starring somebody who actually got beat by said low-level fodder probably 2 weeks ago, and is now trying to fight an entity that typically takes an entire team's worth of experienced huntsmen and huntresses to take down. Like, girl, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Like, you should just leave. Run. Get out of there. Even down to the weapon alone. Like, she has a sword. We went from a high-impact sniper rifle that was also a literal scythe to a rapier they use in fencing. And of course, I'm not saying a rapier is weak or anything. Of course not. I would never. Come on now. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm just saying she has a rapier and her opponent has this. She's skilled, at the very least. Not only did she evade this attack with a clean back handstring, but just look at the way she pointed the blade. Once again, that's that elegance, that pristine. Montiel actually knows how to use a rapier IRL, and you can really see that in the way he animated her. Everything is calculated and direct. Even her thrust is precise and powerful. She zips in like a thunderbolt. Call this Knight a nail the way he gets completely hammered by this attack. Hold up. Pause. Let's go back real quick. This massive 50-ton bastard with a sword bigger than a car managed to react so fast that he blocked this? Bro, Weiss, get out of there! Get out of there! At the very least, I love how fluidly she's animated. She practically bounces off his sword, which is crazy, and performs this elegant recovery back to the ground. And the shot lingers on this too. Montiel's animation style always had this beautiful dichotomy to it, where in a second you'd see the fastest, most aggressive attack ever, but the follow through and the moment afterward would contrast it in every conceivable way. A nice slow scene of Weiss flipping back, her skirt popping open like an umbrella and flowing like a flower's petal before she touches down. It's like taking a breath and exhaling softly. If only I had a mouth and nostrils to breathe from. I'm mostly just making the noises, but whatever. So the Knight attempts to slam down on the little Ice Queen, but Weiss once again zips to the side. She is fast. So fast they're busting out the smear frames? Okay. We get a shot of her appearing on the left, winding up a strike of her own as the Knight glances back at her. It took him only a second to track where she went, and this silently shows the viewer that Weiss at the very least holds a large speed advantage. But the scene also makes an effort to show not only that he blocked one of her blistering strikes, but that he was even able to spot her before the counter-strike, showing that while there is certainly a gap in speed, pure speed alone is not going to be Weiss's savior here. She's going to need something a little bit bigger than that. It's a good thing she's got something bigger than that. She's got skill, a long sweep. She is piecing him up with rapid jabs. Oh my goodness! Look at those! Oh shit! They look like they're tickling him. There's a cut showing him just twisting his body. Another cut, and peep this. The cut is literally just to show Weiss panicking and shelling up immediately. Oh shit! Those two cuts alone completely emphasize the utter power behind that swing he did on her. She managed to block it. Yippee! But, oh my god, compare and contrast. The Knight blocks an attack from Weiss. She bounces off him like a basketball. Weiss blocks an attack from him. You get a flash of light for the impact, looking like a star. Got her sliding back across her heels. Look at this stance! She don't even know where she is anymore. By the time she looks up, look at the fear on her face. Look at him! Look at what he's doing to LeBron! So, Weiss wanted none of that. I agree. Personally, if I was in this situation, I'd be in Philly, not in this situation. She had to make running the fuck away look as clean as possible though, so she hits this beautiful one-handed cartwheel. He comes in for another swipe, dodge cleaner than soap. She lands down, and this time just does not have enough of a moment to move. She has to block it. Ah! How are your strikes gonna barely make him flinch, but when you block one of his attacks, he's got you laid out like this? RWBY fans, nah. This is the best one? This is the best character? Even in her own trailer, she's getting her ass whooped. That is dastardly, dude. She's not even down for a second before that stylish recovery puts her back on her feet. I love that she hit this ballerina-ass pose mid-leap too. That's that elegance, man. She's on Piccolo's timing. Gotta look cool as hell before getting your shit rocked. I respect that. Hell yeah. By this point, she's starting to realize a straight-up sword fight is just not the way to go. She has a pool noodle. He has a bus. So she starts hitting these MCU mage-looking movements. You know the one, those weird hand gestures like Doctor Strange and Wanda be hitting from time to time. And like, I know what she's doing, and full disclosure, she never does this in the actual show when using this ability. Like, this is just 100% aura farming. You want to look cool before you lose. I get it, Weiss, I get it! With one sweep of a hand, we see the SDC logo expand beneath her in a glowing light. This right here is her superpower. This is a glyph. This power is the most convoluted, confusing nonsense ever. I could make an entire video deep diving the way it's used, its strange heritage, the way dust can work with it, but like, I'm not gonna do that. That's like too much work. I got better stuff to do, so I'll just dumb it down. So basically, Weiss can summon these snowflake pads anywhere she wants, and these pads can do one of two things. They can hold an object in place, or they can propel it forward. You can probably guess which one Weiss chose. She zips in, the knight attempts to slam down on her once again, and boom! She side flips off screen. Then zips back in, and yet another crazy stance. Elegance incarnate. Look at this. She could have just turned around and tried to attack him, but no. She had to slide to the left, then backflip over his sword and connect two incredibly fast slashes before landing on another glyph. Yep. Locks herself in like it's a fucking water slide, then blasts off, taking a powerful slash at his legs, and swung in one more time for good measure to cut at the hamstring. He is kneeling. Oh my god, she's actually cooking? Hold up. Weiss, I take back everything bad I said about you. You get this, motherfucker. Look at the way she's moving. 4 strong slashes before she buckles down, the glyph beneath her powering up and propels her up for a fucking shoryuken with a sword. Hey, she's hitting strings. Alright, okay. The momentum is rapidly shifting in her favor. She isn't quite hitting him as hard as he was hitting her, but my god, she's not poking him anymore. She's actually starting to break this guy down, systematically, piece by piece. With a flourish through the air, she buckles in a new glyph and boom! Look at that double slash. The camera cut to a shot of her just sailing in to sell just how harsh that was. But while I was busy talking about cutting, the knight started to retaliate, and he is mad.
I'm gonna murder you.
The second Weiss lands on another one of her platforms, the knight reels back and takes another swing. But instead of blocking it and getting absolutely destroyed again, Weiss completely jumps over it, effortlessly dodging the attack and hovering right into the hardest punch she'd ever feel in her entire life! Oh, shit. Oh, she was winning! Why? It's like I said before, with how tough this guy is, one hit could genuinely be the end of the fight. And I'm not exaggerating, she didn't even block this one. Look how fast her body just shoots out of the frame. It's like she got launched out of a cannon. We get a full take of her just crashing on her back, and this time she's just, there's no fancy recovery. She doesn't get back up, like she just slumps over. Like, dude, it's over. The song is reaching its climax now. This is the 11th hour. The logo of her company lingers beyond the night. a little blood isn't going to stop her from making this name mean something. The blade is overcome by the very dust her company mines, a brighter red than the blood leaking from her temple. The knight tries to attack. Emphasis on tries. In a flourish, she changes to ice dust, releasing a wave of frost to completely tether the knight in place. A failed attempt. She's on his sword now, a roll with a slash before she dismounts. His head is still intact, his sword disarmed. She readies for the final verse. The knight continues to fester on. A strong punch is nothing. She rolls and counters. Suddenly, he's the one flying off a glyph. Another flourish. A burst of light locks him in the air. She rises as her voice crescendos, her blade shimmering under the pale moonlight. One last glyph. One last slice. The test is complete. The final blow has struck. The grim disperses with a crash. The wound is but a scar by now. Her final performance concludes. And at long last, she can finally achieve her dream. And that is the beginning of RWBY. This trailer is so good! Oh my god! The entire plot behind this explores her desire to become a huntress, and ultimately to try and make the world a better place, to give the Schnee name a better reputation and a better legacy than the one it has now. It all just works, especially with the mirror metaphor, the way that when she's on the verge of defeat, the camera angles almost to highlight the SDC's logo plastered around the room, as if goading Weiss to continue fighting to make that logo mean something more again. The way the music is literally timed with every single beat of the fight. The way she only truly defeats the knight when she starts to utilize her company's dust, showing that while she does detest everything her father does, she ultimately still believes in what the company stands for, and like, it's so peak! Weiss as a character is easily the best of the main four. I love RWBY the most, but in terms of story and like depth, it's not even a competition. She literally says it herself.
I'm the best girl.
And let me tell you, she ain't wrong. But with all that being said, that is the White trailer. Yet another incredibly detailed and cinematic teaser for what's to come in the main show. I made the last video due to two major reasons. One, I always wanted to make a video honoring Montiome as a creator, and two, I kind of thought RWBY as a show was done. Their company Rooster Teeth got sold by Warner Brothers, and it just sort of seemed like the end, unfortunately. But recently Rooster Teeth just tweeted butts, so I guess they're back. And RWBY is owned by Viz Media, so they're good too, I guess? We're probably going to end up seeing more content for the show sometime this year or the next. I personally am excited. A lot of people I know were kinda hoping for a reboot, and personally I think wanting a show that's been out for more than a decade to have a reboot right before it finishes is
That's a take.
I have mixed feelings on the show. Part of me loves it to death. To hell and back. So much so that I spent money on a hoodie for it. But another part of me just calls it a Deadpool hoodie when people ask what it is, because it's really embarrassing to tell people that you like RWBY. Though that aside, if there's one thing I want, it's to see the climax. Montiome created a product that holds a very special place in my heart, and while it may not be the same without him, I'd like to see his vision come to a rousing finale. Because if there's one thing he taught me, it's that even if your life may come to an end, you will always have the potential to change the lives of others. And if you stuck around this long, if you waged through the hell that is this long analysis video of a 3-minute teaser, if you stayed the entire time just to see my thoughts all the way through, then I have only one thing to say to you, viewer. I actually don't. I don't really care that much. Thank you, though.